Hey hello, welcome back. Heathen Outdoors, Volume 6. Tonight we're going to have a simple overnighter locally. I really couldn't get out this weekend. The weather is supposed to be absolutely terrible. I'm still altering some shelters and I got a new tent to show you guys today. So tonight, with the time that I had, I decided to get out at our local park here. And we're going to do a simple overnighter next to the fire. I got Matty boy with me. He's going to keep me safe from the coyotes. And I think tonight we're going to practice a tarp shelter I haven't tried before, and that is the Arrowhead. When it comes to tarp shelters, it's supposed to give you versatility, but believe it or not, the type of person that I am, I like simplicity. And I think that's my biggest challenge as I think about it is I have so many options, but I can't make up my mind. And so I like the Adirondack and I like the Gunya. And those seem to work. They just get the job done. And so for me, it's simple. But tonight, I think I'm going to try the Arrowhead. If that doesn't work, I think I will transfer over to the Gunya. But I also have a tent that I brought with me tonight that we're going to set up and show you. It's the One Tigris Tetra tent. I set it up in my backyard yesterday. Absolutely loved that tent. So without further ado, let me get these shelters set up and I'll show you what's going on. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the Arrowhead. Gonna be honest, I'm not the biggest fan. There's not a whole lot of room. But this is what the Arrowhead looks like. You can see why they call it the Arrowhead. And it's sturdy. It is very strong. It requires a pole or a stick. But this thing is taut. The spine is very taut. I'm just not the biggest fan. In a pinch situation, this is the ideal shelter that you're gonna want. It covers you from multiple angles, has good coverage. If you have a other ground sheet, you can put it down, but if not, the sides underneath flip under and you can use that as a ground sheet. Put a fire out in front of you and you'd be able to stay warm as long as the fire didn't get out of control. Alright guys, the Gunya. A low-level Gunya, if you will. The reason why I really like this shelter, it's funny how you can get this shape with just one tarp, right? You do get provided a ground sheet, even though I brought my big canvas tarp to put on the ground because this is where we're going to be hanging out before we crawl in the tent. Now, the reason why this is a really, really good shelter too is right now I have this back flap hooked in with another stake to give me some pocket room, but I can always unhook this, flap it over and bring it down here, and I'm going to have a nice triangular looking pitch in front that's going to protect me from wind, rain, plenty of room on the inside, but there's a little more stakes involved. You need 2 poles or sticks, possibly 3 if you don't have a tree behind you in which you can pitch out. But this is the Gunya. Alright, YouTube. The Gunya and the Tetra. This tent is amazing. Okay, so as everything, it has pros and cons. The pros to me, honestly, it's super light. It is super light. It's a 20D nylon, I believe. I could be wrong. Again, this is the One Tigris Tetra with the inner built-in. Great tent. I love the options, as you can see. This is a door. It zips here all the way around. So I can take this door, if I wanted to, completely off. Or I could zip this side up, leave the middle attached, and bring it out like an awning. I kind of like this side looking vestibule thing just because I can hang out right here if I wanted to, cook, sharpen, whittle, and then when I'm ready for bed, it has the inner tent with the screen netting. And it's fairly big. I'm 5'10" and a half. This thing is easily 7 feet, 7.5 feet wide. I'm sorry, in length. And then a good 3.5 feet in width. I'm gonna fit perfectly fine in that. The only downfall I have to the Tetra as of right now is it does take a moment to set up. For things not to flap in the wind, right? You want things taut. So I have the doors 1 stake, the corners are 2 stakes, and the way these lift up and go back to the ground, you're double staking on each corner. I have a stake here in the middle to pull it out. I have 2 more here, 1 here in the corner, 1 here in the door, and of course this is just optional the way I have the awning set up, because again, I can take that door off and just have the vestibule here and here. But you're looking at, what is that, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stakes. That's not to mention if I wanted to guide it out. 9 for now, but if I wanted to guide it out and get more room, if it was windy, I would need easily 12, 13 stakes. That's my only argument to that tent. Takes a moment to set up, but once it's up, this is everything you need. You have your inner tent for your sleeping. I like to keep my shit clean, so I don't want my dog in there until I'm ready to go sleep. So I can put all my gear out front, protected from weather. I can whittle, hang out, cook. If it's nice and cold, and I can get a controlled fire, I can probably bring the fire about right here, right in front of the vestibule. A small low lit fire, and probably try to get some warmth out of it. Alright, so Matty and I are going on a hike. We're over here in the lands of bad again, where me and Gunnar were, and we found more remains of that deer, some more bones. But I think we're going to try the east side this time around and see if we can find anything cool over there. See where we go. There's a trail here, it's fucking soaking wet, but it's our only option. Matty, come here. Punk Niemann Kinder. There's mud everywhere today. Alright. So during our hike, came across this tin pipe thing over here. I got this eerie feeling about this field right now. Well, we're gonna go check it out. Let's check this out. Oh, that's gnarly as hell. Matty, get off the goddamn spine. Oh, this spinal cord. Man. I gotta check this out. You're coming, Kenda. Oh, it's not even a pipe. It's like a tipped over water well. No, that's no fun. That's not cool. Walked all this way, now we're just stuck in the bush. Okay. Alright, Matty. Back to camp. Alright, y'all. YouTube, welcome back. This is where the Gunya shines. With us getting a little bit more rain and that wind chill coming in from the south-southeast, we went ahead and put the awning, or put awning mode on the Gunya. And what this does actually 3 things. First and foremost, the first thing it's going to do is obviously prevent rain, so I can extend my tarp out a little more. Got plenty of room underneath to hang out. Got the wool blanket ready. The second thing this does, though, is when the fire gets going, that heat is going to go into that pocket. Let's call it a pocket. You know, it's going to circulate a little bit. Now, it's not going to heat up to 80-something degrees or nothing like that. But believe it or not, if we had thermostat and they'll say it was out here in the dirt, it might read 32 just underneath that shelter. With my body heat, with Matty's body heat, plus that fire out in front and reflecting heat, I wouldn't be surprised if it read 34, 35. I get it. It's only 3 or 4 degrees, but trust me when I say that can make a world of difference. But the third thing this does is this option too. So let's say we were going to camp out and actually sleep underneath the tarp. I can drop this option a little lower and almost create like a V. Even more so if I took that stake out and dropped it, straightened this stake up, I would be almost not exactly, but I would be near almost where I was before with that diamond shelter. So the Gunya by far is my favorite. I like the Adirondack because once again it's like a pocket, and if you put a fire out in front of you, you can stay warm. But the Gunya with just minor tweaks will give you multiple, and I mean multiple, different options of tarp layout with just a few different moves. Alright, YouTube. Kind of want to talk to you real quick, somewhat seriously. No matter if you're a fresh platoon, barely getting out in the bush, out in the back country, whatever you want to call it, getting outdoors, and you're not familiar with a lot of the tools, or if you're a veteran, the one thing that I'm currently learning right now, and I would stress on anyone that's building an outdoor kit, whether it be a get home bag, an emergency kit, a bushcraft bag, going backpacking, one thing that I'm learning personally is it doesn't matter how much gear you got. What's more important is knowing your gear. And I can't stress that enough, because half the time, kind of like I said earlier in this episode, when you have too many options, most of the time options are great, but when you have too many options, sometimes you'll lose track. Not only lose track of the tools and gears you have, but you'll lose track of why you have those in those positions. With minimal gear, everything will have a purpose, and most of the time things will have a multi-purpose, and therefore you will know your kit better. If you need a cutting tool, you'll know where it's at. If you need cordage, you know where it's at. If you need water repellent or reflective, you'll know where it's at. Fire starting kit, you'll know where it's at. Cooking kit, you'll know where it's at. You need a lighter, matches, a ferro rod to get fire going, you'll know where it's at. When you have too much available to you, not only are you hauling around too much, but you can lose your kit. It's a term, and that's just because you lose track of why you bring certain things and where they're at. Less is more, if that makes sense. And I'm learning that right now, just because there's so many times in which I might need to cut something very, very minimal, and I'm immediately reaching for my knife. When I have a little Gerber dime, I can just pack that, and it's light, and it's a cutting tool, right? Now granted, I think a knife is very important. A good solid knife will come in handy throughout, across the board, right? But I think knowing your kit is part of building your kit. Alright guys, got my 80s rock playing, some Joe Lamont, fire going underneath the tarp. Quick little surprise for you. Actually, it's no surprise, it's something I've been wanting to do, kind of a tradition, if you will. I got ourselves here inside the pocket. Jägermeister. We'll try to keep that going as long as we can, YouTube. Tonight, we'll drink to the inspiration. Like I said, I should have created this YouTube channel a long, long time ago. But it requires inspiration. And I watch videos of a lot of my favorite YouTubers. And even though I don't think I have the discipline to do YouTube permanently, you got to give credit to those who do, you know. And I just couldn't have a camera on me at all times and just remember to film it. The best thing I can ask for out of this channel, honestly, is just hopefully it inspires you to do one of two things, if not both. First, to get outdoors. Two is don't be afraid of the camera. Honestly, I'm thinking of my when I wake up in the morning to get ready for work, I'll throw YouTube on and catch up on some gear videos, you know, all my favorite YouTubers. And I watch a lot of these outdoor channels. And that's all I can ask for in return. But I also think of those people that might be handicapped. Maybe they're getting older. They can't travel as much. They can't get out of the house. They're kind of living that outdoor life through these channels, believe it or not. I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but it's very true. And maybe I can inspire someone where they can live through me, you know, and maybe someone out there will watch these videos and just say, man, I remember the days when I used to do that exact same thing, you know. So this is to Heathen Outdoors Volume 6. We got to do something fun when Volume 10 comes around. All right, Jägermeister. Oh, that's black licorice. All right, YouTube. Not sure how well you can make me out with the focus and all. Now you back up. We're calling in the night. We're crawling in the tent. The One Tigris Tetra. Let you guys know how we sleep in the morning. We're gonna put one more log on the fire as usual, and then we're calling her a night. I got about 9:50 p.m. time we actually crawl in, take the boots off, put the little down booties on. Probably about 10 o'clock exactly. All right, good morning. I got about 6:45. It's still kind of dark outside. Sunup's not until another 30 minutes or so. Matty's already out. It didn't get too cold last night. And I'm lucky because there's not a lot of condensation in this tent. I mean, you can feel that it's cool, which I think is kind of standard. But when it comes to real condensation, like liquid you can pull off the sidewall, it's just not there. It is cold nonetheless, so I think that back flap ventilation on the Tetra here, I think it does its purpose, it does its job. I didn't shut down any of the vestibules or anything like that. I kept it open. Obviously zipped up the screen. And I went back to the closed cell phone pads last night. And although it's not the best night's sleep, I think I slept a little better than sleeping on an air mattress. My only argument with the air mattress is if you're out in the bush, if you're out on trail, if you're not what I consider car camping where you have access to your vehicle, if that fails, then you're sleeping on the ground, you know? Unless you remote and then go into bushcraft mode and make yourself a bed with debris underneath or something. But casual camping, simple overnights, backpacking and stuff, the closed cell foam is just the way to go. I really do believe so. I don't think you can beat it. It's rock solid. It's foolproof. It's obviously not the best night's sleep, but at the same time, guys, I think my argument would be you can't expect to get the best night's sleep when you're out camping. Not that it's impossible, but you're camping. You're not in your own bed. You know what I mean? So I'm going to get up, start packing some stuff up, and then I'll see you guys in a minute before we close this video out. All right, YouTube, closing out Heathen Outdoors Volume 6. Simple overnighter, nothing special, I know, but each time we come out here, we enjoy it, and we want to bring you guys along with us. Today was just me and Matty. We're going to tear down these tents and the tarp, and we're going to start heading home. And before you ask, and I've been asked this before too, is like, Nick, how come you never eat breakfast? How come you don't do breakfast? And the truth is, you guys, when I'm out here locally, I'm about 35 minutes from my house. When I'm out in the bush, I'm about an hour away from my house. So the reality is I don't like to dirty up the equipment, get a fresh fire going in the morning, all that stuff, unless I'm going to be out there majority of that day. But for these simple overnighters, I usually just prefer to pack up of the morning, start heading home. Multiple reasons for that. I can get a kickstart on my day. I'm not too far from home. Probably get a better breakfast at home, or at least on the way home. But any way we can get it, we love the outdoors. I like taking you guys with me. Heathen Outdoors Volume 6 closing out. Each time we come out here, guys, is one step further to the goal, and that is, you know what, next time, Heathen Volume 7, Outdoors Volume 7, I'm going to do a mock mission if I'm not really out in the bush. If I have to come back here, we'll do a mock mission, what I call it, and we're just going to mimic anything that we need. We're going to have to carry on our back. Should be interesting, should be fun. Obviously no tarp shelter because I'm going to go with the tent. Or who knows, we might just legit go backpacking. You never know. My sleep system's dialed in. The U.S. military service bivy sack is the key. I feel it locks in the heat. The only issue I have with it though is I do feel that there's condensation down by the foot box. The multiple times that I've used it and woke up, there's condensation down there. Not ton, but you can just tell there's moisture there. Probably because there's not enough circulation and the body heat's, you know, giving off all that heat and it's reflecting off of it. But my feet are no longer cold since I got the down booties to put on, and the sleep system seems to work. Last night I got 38 degrees. I slept like a child, man. Closed cell foam is the way to go. I would prefer the air mattress, but I'm gonna go closed cell foam on the big trip. And then obviously I'm going to bring a tent. So most of our gear now is dialed in. Now all we really got to do is sort together what we're going to bring on the trip. Food, water. And then maybe I'll do a Heathen Outdoors Volume 7 gear video. And then Outdoors Volume 8 will actually be the trip. Who knows? Because I still have water filtration to go through. I got a Grail that I want to talk to you guys about. I think it's the best thing on the market. It's a little more weight, but that's a whole nother video. You guys, thank you for joining us. Heathen out. Matty. Look at Matty. Get over here. Crazy dog. You crazy. Here, coming, Kendo. Here. Crazy dog. Good young Kendo. Here, off Mick. You guys, thank you for joining us. Heathen Outdoors Volume 6. Can't wait to get to 10. Peace. Stay Heathen.